You know those games you used to play as a kid and then attempt to play 30 years down the road to find out how terrible the video game actually is, and it just completely destroys your memories for that video game? Super Castlevania IV is definitely not one of those games. The music absolutely slaps still to this day. However, before I begin my rambles on this video game, I would like to go over the story aspect of this so that you can kind of get an idea of what this is actually about if you have never played this series before. In basic, simple terms, you're going to be playing as Simon Belmont, and your goal is to go and take down Dracula, who is sending out demons to destroy your town and things of that nature. I do remember playing the Nintendo, or using the Nintendo Power magazine in order to kind of guide myself through this video game, because the way the difficulty in this game plays out, let me just get my negative, nitpicky complaint about this video game out of the way before we get too far down the rabbit hole of why I love this video game. Look. The bounce backs when an enemy hits you in a game that has a lot of platforming, but the platforming also brings you above, it scrolls up, and if you unfortunately fall below the scroll up, you're falling to your death. Another game that is notorious for this that I absolutely love but hate at the same time is Ninja Gaiden. The bounce back, there's zero gamers out here nowadays that actually like that, okay? So let's just get that one nitpicky thing out of the way first. You know, back in the 90s, whenever Konami was releasing a video game, you knew that video game was going to be absolutely wild. It is going to be fun. It is going to be incredible. It is definitely going to be a video game that you want to invite all of your buddies over to play and talk about. No matter what you say about Castlevania, whether you are familiar with the series, whether or not you like the series, or even whether or not you dislike this series, it is one of those video games where you can literally talk about it because of the cool aspect of it. Like, the way that Konami went about creating this is they pretty much made the levels extremely difficult, and then they made the bosses somewhat simple to actually defeat. Now, like, the box art on this, man, is, I think it's awesome. You know, like, for some reason, like, I have a couple of these, like, emulation station consoles, man, and I find myself browsing and scrolling through all of these video games way more than I actually do playing the video games. Because for me, and honestly, the entire reason I even started this series is for that nostalgia and the memories and going back in time and those memories coming up for me. And it's kind of like browsing through older movies with these emulation consoles, especially the like really good ones. Specifically, the one that I'm thinking of right now is Ken Hank's 12 terabyte hard drive. I know that there's a lot of people that say that this thing is full of malware and it has a bunch of viruses. Look, if you just delete the Play Night folder, all of those are gone. The reason that those have those viruses and things of that nature is because the PC games that are on this drive have like these like cracked codes that you put into it. And those are the ones that are bringing up those flags when you go to install everything. However, with that said, I personally myself have a little mini gaming, or a mini PC from Geekom with an 8945 HS. It's like, I think it's like $500 or $600 now on Amazon, that I just use for all of this stuff, because I'm not going to really be getting into the PC games, and like even PS3 is going to work with that. Xbox 360 is going to work with that. The original Xbox kind of struggles with that. However, I'm getting way off topic in terms of Super Castlevania 4. So let's go ahead and get back to this. When you're a kid, man, you're a vampire slayer destroying monsters and demons, and like you're going through all these levels, and it's just like, it's just such a cool game. It's like, no matter if you like it or dislike it, it's just one of those games that you want to share with people. You want to talk about it with people just because it's quote unquote cool. You know what I mean? As far as the weapons go, you don't really, I mean, you get the whip, you get the dagger thrower. I like so the thing is like, there's a couple of different levels in this where the boomerang thing that you can throw the boomerang and then it comes back. like that one's super useful for that, for the freaking, oh my goodness, the guy where you whip, he splits into two, and then you got to kill the, or hold on, so one, there's one demon guy who's, you whip him, he splits into four characters, and then those four characters split into eight characters, and it's basically like this effect of like enemies that fall out, and it's super useful to throw that boomerang, destroy them, and then it hits the other two over here, and then it comes back, and like by the time like you're done whipping the first two, they're dead, and then it's like one more hit. And so that's like super useful. But the dagger is it's so useful for the boss fights, because you just spam the dagger. Like it is kind of, the bosses are pretty easy. It's the levels in this game that are super hard and super difficult, except for when you get to Dracula. He's definitely the hardest part of this. But the best part of fighting Dracula in this game is that it's one of those bosses where when you start damaging him, you know. Like, you actually know that you're damaging the boss. This also uses Mode 7 in a few levels. For those of you that are unaware of what Mode 7 is, Mode 7 on the Super Nintendo is basically the 3D version of the Super Nintendo. Like, Doom used Mode 7, Super Mario Kart used Mode 7. Oh my god. I don't, okay, so let me know down in the comments. Should we do Donkey Kong next or Mario Kart? I know it's going to be one of those. This is like one of the first games. Like, my dad bought me a Super Nintendo, or let's be honest, he was like probably like 25 when he bought it. He definitely bought it for himself to play with me as well. But he got Super Castlevania IV, and then we got the one that came with Super Mario World, and then we also got Donkey Kong Country. So we had 3 games. I know that Donkey Kong was the very first game that I ever played. Like, it was the first game that I ever played. And then I can't remember whether or not it was Super Castlevania IV or it was Super Mario World for the second game. I can't remember, but it was those 3 games, and I remember that. I know that. And I know my dad was playing Super Castlevania IV because I couldn't do it. It was too hard for me. It has a realistic platforming aspect. Does that make sense? Like, Simon takes a little bit to... Like, he takes a little bit to jump, he takes a little bit to land, and then it like also kind of moves you. So what I mean by moves you, Luigi, if anybody has ever played like Mario and Mario with Luigi in it, like Luigi has this like floaty, slippery type of feeling. And Simon kind of has, not to the extent of Luigi, but it has that, like, it doesn't have that smoothness that Mario has. It's the only way that I could think to explain. So please bear with me when I say this, okay? And I'm going to explain myself on why. So I want to give it an 80. I do. I really want to give it an 80. But I gotta give it a. See, I don't want to go down to 60. I gotta give it a 70. All right. So the music is absolutely incredible. The vibes, the gameplay, the atmosphere, incredible. It is so awesome. The graphics are, it uses Mode 7 that was like brand new for that time period. Every single aspect of this game is spot on. It is from Konami. The enemies, like, everything feels great except the most important part of a video game. And that is the gameplay. Like, you don't have the option to run. The platforming doesn't feel like something that I can say would hold up now. When you combine that with the pushback, and it's not like a little pushback, man. It's not like, oh, hey, you hit an enemy, poof, here you go. It's like, most games, like, you hit an enemy, like, poof, there you go, poof, there you go. But like in this game, you hit an enemy, it's like fling, and it's like, no. And then you got to start from the beginning. And because the levels are so difficult and they made the bosses easy, you have to start at the very beginning. Oh, it is the most frustrating thing. But however, this game, 100% would say recommend nowadays in 2025. Music, level, graphic, atmosphere, everything is perfect. It is just the movement is a little bit slow, and then the knockback. Let me know what you would rate this out of 1 out of 100. Let me know what game you would like to see next, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.